Ahoy, listeners, and welcome to Pop Screen, part of the Geek Show podcast network. We are that corner of the Geek Show that likes to cover the good, the bad, and the maritime of movies, either starring by or about pop stars. No, the podcast covers a broad range of musical and cinematic genres, from country and western hip hop, from documentaries to science fiction. I'm your host, Graham Williamson. I am a writer, a regular writer for the Geek Show, filmmaker, and a gallery artist, and I am joined this week by...
I'm Mark Harrison. I'm a writer and quizmaster turned cruise ship singer who's on the high seas investigating murders, which seem to happen wherever we go. Wherever we go.
Literally any place. And I know from reading John Ronson books that there's a lot of suspicious deaths that happen on cruise ships. So that's not part of the show setup that I want to quibble with, if I'm honest. That's fine.
Yeah, it's not part of the good ship murderverse.
It's no. It's an aspect of reality that they faithfully reflect, along with all the other aspects of reality. This was created by Ken Loach, wasn't it, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Ken Loach is the good ship murder, as we have to call it to give it its full title. Like Lee Cronin's The Mummy, Ken Loach is the good ship murder.
Yes.
But by way of introduction, do you want me to tell people why I've been haranguing you to do this?
But yeah, please, it would clean it up for me, if nothing else.
Yeah, this is as a pressy to this is all my fault. So there's not been loads of TV episodes of Pop Screen. Is it pretty much just It's a Sin and this?
No, we've done Les Dogs, which is the Comic Strip Presents episode that has Kate Bush in. We've done Jarvis Cocker's mini-series about Outside of Art that he did for Channel 4 in the 90s. You know, not much, but when we have done it, it's been something that's been worth, clearing away our usual schedule for, right?
Right. I mean, at the very least, the ones I was on the It's a Sin episodes, at the very least, the two I've been on are ones that have Russell T Davies looking in the window with like that gif just going, good, wearing a big t-shirt that says sickos. But yeah, so The Good Ship Murder is a Channel 5 show that's very much in the vein of the Death in Paradise franchise the BBC has going. To sort of start Death in Paradise. The formula of that is it'll be a comedian or light entertainer turned actor will be starring as a police detective who gets transferred to a very sunny place, basically. And it's started with Ben Miller. There's Ralph Ledigo, Adlo Hanlon. It's been going for years, and that's got spin-offs now. It's got a spin-off that's set in, like, I think I have to be on. I'll be honest, full disclosure, I don't watch the Paradise shows, but I know Beyond Paradise is Chris Marshall's character is back, and it's just set in the UK.
Death Outside Paradise. It's like, people like this show, but I'm sure they'd love it even more without the amazing Caribbean locations, right?
Yeah, well, it's going. It's still going. I know people who are big fans of it. And there's Return to Paradise, which is set in Australia. So it's a whole cozy crime drama industrial complex. There's plenty of it going around. In the literature, you have loads of it as well. You have Richard Osman and his nonsense. It's also been said in the films. Well, on TV at least, Channel 5 has kind of been coming up in terms of UK TV drama in the last few years. So I want to present to you all something that I discovered when I came home from running a pub quiz one night, and I laughed and laughed and laughed for a full hour. I want to present the Good Ship Murder, the first episode of which introduces X Factor winner Shayne Ward as Jack Grayling, a police detective turned cruise ship singer. You're a police detective and now you're a cruise ship singer. Why would you give it all up? Maybe there's a reason. Maybe we'll find out. But mostly just very, very formulaic murders on cruise ships, or wherever they've gone. Right? They're not all on the ship. That would be a lot. It's Shayne Ward as the cruise singer, but with his detective history and with the help of true crime buff and first officer Kate Woods, played by Catherine Tildesley, who he was on Coronation Street with a few years ago. They're just kind of going around solving these ridiculous murders from port to port. And at the end of every episode, in what the auditorium size, the amphitheater that's somehow on this cruise ship, a load of mums and nanas watch Jack Grayling sing a song. There's a cover song at the end of every single. The structure of these is cast down. It's I won't say it's never failed, but it's certainly into the first. We're being Channel 5. There's ad breaks, and the first ad break is the discovery of a body. Second ad break is normally a witness saying something like, "We need to talk," and then it cuts the adverts. The third ad break is something that's going to propel you towards a solution, or is just the solution a bit early. But the last part is always just Shayne Ward singing to mums, and the mums swaying. Who've all been on the ship must know this is going on. It's not that big a ship, or the amount of times it's happened, it must at least come up. The mums swaying at the end of every episode, immune to the tragedy and problems of other people. Just a chilling statement of how we've all become desensitized to horror in our regular lives. But the guests who would leave sniffy TripAdvisor reviews about the mortality rate are either dead or in police custody. So, yeah.
Yes, that's very true. Yeah. The songs are impressively anodyne, I think. Like one of the episodes that you set me to watch, and we'll get on to which episodes I was were in a bit. But it ends with him singing "Everyone's a Winner" by Hot Chocolate, and as funk songs go, "Everyone's a Winner" is not exactly "He Was a Big Old Freak" by Betty Davis. It's pretty sort of weak stuff on its own. My God, it sounds like James Brown compared with what Shayne Ward does to it.
Well, not to get ahead, but there's enough to talk about in that episode that I'll just say this now. This is the one where he goes and pulls up one of the nanas out of the the audience, isn't it? And starts dancing with her. And it's just they're
style.
Yeah, I've talked about the horrors in everyday life on the news all the time. It's still by some distance the least erotic thing I've seen on telly in a while, but it is at least you want to talk about how anodyne the covers are. It's kind of this is we're 20 years on since Shayne Ward won the X Factor, and we haven't yet arrived at the future that Doctor Who promised us in the episode Fear Her, where they go to 2012, the London Olympic opening ceremony, and there's posters up for his greatest hits album. Like what he was actually doing in 2012 was he had been dropped by Simon Cowell's record company, and he was starring in Rock of Ages in London, which is about the level for people a few years after they win X Factor, after Simon Cowell has used them up a bit. But I mention it because I think it's fair to say to give him his bumps on that, because Shayne Ward has had more longevity than most other winners of the X Factor, other than maybe Leona Lewis or Little Mix. It's a show where this massive, and it was massive at its time. We're still a few years when he wins it. It's only the second series. We're still a few years off a protest movement that gets Rage Against the Machine to Christmas #1, just to give you a picture of where British society was with the sudden X Factor a few years after that. But I'll tell you for now that when I get to Christmas pub quizzes, and you're doing rounds of like, here's Christmas #1, name the song, name the artist. His song, his #1, that's my goal, is the one where arms go in the air, swaying. It's women singing along with it, mums and daughters. Is that some kind of indent compared to like the last 20 years of other X Factor winners, charity covers, and Lad Baby, and that one time Rage Against the Machine was Christmas #1. So I think that's gives him a flying start, really, that he's had some longevity in terms of just that song being memorable to people. But then he's gone on the X Factor to acting in Coronation Street to dancing on Strictly Come Dancing Pipeline. That's kept him in the public eye more than anybody else other than those winners I mentioned.
And I will say, to balance it out, I think the theme tune to this is a genuine earworm. It's very much the say what you see school of TV theme tunes, the sort of thing that you can imagine Dennis Waterman doing.
It's very much that, is there, that the actor singing the theme tune. You naturally have it, but
it kicks off with him going on an adventure with you in mind, and you think, well, that set the scene. I was thinking when it was started, I want someone to cut the clips from the trailer to the Odyssey to this. That's what I want.
I mean, in a way, that's what it is. Everywhere they land, there's something or other. Just instead of giant blocks, it's just another soap actor has been murdered by the first advert. Yeah. It's like you mentioned Dennis Waterman, like, but you, as you said the first time, like, going on an adventure. But it's just that it sounds like it's just. Do we think anyone wrote it? Do we think that it was just improvised? Like, what's our cruise ship murder show like theme song going to be? It's like, I know, shots of Malta, and then we'll have a very creepy shot of like blood in water.
Yes,
we'll have someone with a gun, someone with a syringe, but still Malta, still like lovely shots of very sunny locations. All with Shayne Ward wobbling over the top. Just it's camp from the off. Like I said, the first episode of this I watched, which was the first episode we're going to talk about.
I was going to ask.
I just howled the whole way through. It's. I can't say it's a huge success, except that it is very popular and it's got its formula. Like it sticks to it. It's like it's really strongly stuck to it's welded to its formula.
And it's just, announced a new series that's gone into production with a big new recurring star. So it's clearly, made its mark.
Mm-hmm. We'll get to that. The first episode, though, the pilot episode, La Rochelle.
Yeah.
It's the name of the episode. All the episodes are just named after the locations.
I have a pet theory about this, by the way, because, no British television show can be made with just British money from a British TV channel anymore. Yeah. That's just part of the great golden age of television that we live in. My theory is that this got through production because they said it can be a co-production with literally anywhere.
Yeah, it's true. They are on a working cruise ship. They filmed this. It's the MSC Virtuoso, which we shouldn't even mention the name of. The whole show is an advert for this cruise if it's a working thing. But it is. I mentioned Malta because it's usually harboured there. Yeah, I've done a little research into this because I do want to check that they're not going to be coming after us on the Good Ship Murder forums or anything, because it is a popular show. I think we're going to be fine. It's going to be okay. Yeah. I do know that apparently they haven't released any soundtrack albums for it, which is peculiar to me, considering how popular it is. But that means the theme song, it may or may not have been written, but it's definitely sung by Shayne Ward. Has never been released for people to have on there to own. And apparently they want it on vinyl. They want all of the songs that Shayne sings in this show. So La Rochelle, literally just gives you. It's literally in a line early on. Like someone says, it's sun, sea, and shore tunes. It's just. It's the show in a nutshell. Will it ever raise above that level? Who knows? I dares to dream. It's you've got that lead pair of Shayne Ward and Catherine Tilsley, who, as I said, were a couple on Coronation Street, and so you sort of see the thing of casting. I don't think it's a show that would exist if it wasn't for Shayne Ward getting into acting. It's not something you're not getting like Nick Knowles on a show where he's a gardener, but also. He was an ex-police detective and murders happen.
Although he's pitched that. You just know he's pitched that.
Yeah, if he was into gardening, but we'll redo that. Anyways, but they're surrounded by soap actors as suspects too, so it's got that thing that ITV used to make before it was all dramas for things that happened like 10 years ago or less that end with Toby Jones saying into camera, "This is serious." So everyone knows that this is serious or important, because the post office man said so. They used to, be a pipeline a bit for people coming out of soaps to be in it. So, if you watch Shayne Ward and Catherine Tilsley, and as I said, they did have chemistry in Corrie, but so watching this and the joyless flirting, the endless will they, won't they? It's like I don't care if they will or they won't or they live or they die when they stop the plot for them to talk to each other, because it's so. Lacking in any spark. Like I said, I've laughed a lot, but never at any of the actual jokes in this. It's
the chemistry between them is stymied by the fact that they clearly want to push this couple as a sort of archetype that the screenplay never justifies. And at the end of episode 1, you've still got all this dialogue about how Kate thinks Jack is shallow and self-centered, and you think he's not even charmingly roguish. He's a good guy. He just solved a murder on his day off for funsies. And you're still going on about what a self-centered dickhead he is.
Yep. Pretty much, it's the Sam and Diane, Ross and Rachel type thing that shows occasionally want to project on it, but there's nothing in it. It's just dialogue like Catherine Tilson getting, Catherine Tilson getting dialogue like, why would a homicide detective give it all up to become a cruise singer? I think there's more to Jack Grayling. It's like, that's not a thing people say. That's just the elevator pitch for come back next week. What, other than, you've watched this one-off mystery, like, oh, what's going to happen next? It's really unnatural, stilted dialogue as they're all crowded around a giant whiteboard in his dressing room that has, helpful notes like blunt trauma injury on a post-it note, and another post-it note that says, how did he die? That was worth writing down and putting up. That's sort of, as far as the joke scored, like the fact that it's a mystery shopper on the cruise, like a mystery shopper winds up in a murder mystery is like a nice chortle. So, all right, that's a good start. Let's go with that. So it's just the arriving. It's normally at the very least they arrive in port, somebody dies, and then it's kind of running around an ex-detective and a true crime nut, which is there are plenty of show. We're far enough along now where true crime fandom is a thing where there are multiple TV shows about true crime fans deciding to solve murders themselves. Like the only murders in the building being sort of the best of them out of the ones I've seen. But yeah, this is just very standard. I mean, more formulaic than anything I've ever seen of Death in Paradise or any of those assorted ones, but with the same mechanism to take guest stars on holiday. I watched an episode of The Celebrity Chase recently, where Danny John Jules was one of the contestants, and when right before he starts his round, Bradley Walsh is asking him about working on that show and saying like, I want that gig, and yeah, he really wants that gig. He's like practically drooling over it. But then I don't think Bradley Walsh has paid for a holiday since he was in Doctor Who, and they were like taking them to Spain to film stuff. I think every single show. I think the Barney, like his large adult son Barney, who's also a presenter, like is really excited about going places with him, and it just turns out to be an 8x60 commission for ITV1 instead of a family holiday. Oh, I thought we were going to Disneyland, but no, we were. I'm a rodeo clown in this one. Anyway, Yeah, so as we speak, listeners, as we record this, there's a new one starting tomorrow night on Channel 5 called Benidorm is Murder, and that certainly feels like some words you could pull out of a hat and stick John Hannah in and film it in Europe. And sure, another one of these shows. It's one of the main things they're making now on UK telly.
It is, yeah. I mean, British television, as it stands, is nothing if not a complicated series of excuses for recognisable people to go on a holiday. And I suppose, again, devil's advocate, you can say that there's a lot more effort going into this one than the normal sort of one which begins with Amal fucking Rajan going, I've always been fascinated by the culture of insert name of the place I'm going to here.
Oh, definitely. Like, as long as it's giving, writers and crew people, not only a holiday, but, something to actually make. It's lovely. It's because, the BBC is making all this stuff, and ITV and Channel 4 to a much less extent doing any of these, destination murder shows. It's Channel 5 is sort of carrying the torch for UK drama at this point, or UK drama that isn't expensive and miserable. It's it's going with.
I will say that when I watched this and I got like the adverts for other Channel 5 shows and other stuff you can watch on Channel 5 streaming, I just thought, man, they do a lot of dramas about famous pedos, don't they? They've got the whole Channel 5 pedo drama box set up there.
The Channel 5 pedoverse. I'll just add verse to anything; it'll work. But it's sort of a dereliction by the BBC and ITV and even Channel 4 that Play for Today comes back on 5 rather than on any of the other channels. That is doing literally to the spirit of it as well, giving people their first TV credits. Like the State of Christmas Telly just gone. Things are in trouble when like 2025 Christmas Telly, like there was a Christmas special of The Good Ship Murder, and that was pretty much one of the only new UK TV drama commissions across any of the main free channels, the Freeview channels. It's an odd one, but as I said, it's keeping, excuse the pun, it's keeping it afloat in a way. It's certainly given these soap actors who would normally get a nice cushy ITV job, but now can't credibly act opposite Toby Jones, he's giving them jobs. So in this first episode, you get Val from Emmerdale, Charlie Hardwick. You get Catherine Henthorne, who's been from EastEnders to Corrie and back. You get Nigel Betts from Emmerdale.
What a star he is, by the way. He's great in this.
Yeah, he's good. But it's just, it's formulaic as it is. And you sort of like, it's one of those things where when you have a guest cast like this, and this does happen across other episodes as well, it becomes a little bit like there's really only, it's one of these whodunits where there's only one person who could have done it. Like they'll chase a red herring up until the second ad break, and then just by process of elimination, like, right, there's only one person who could do this. But it doesn't matter because here's Shayne Ward singing Daydream Believer. Just as a capper to the blunt force trauma injury that they've just domesticated close, and all of the other stuff that happens to it, the more creative. I did like his showdown at the end. They give him a Columbo moment, but again, as I say, sat opposite Val from Emmerdale. Spoilers, by the way. Just see, say, you were going to kill him, but you know what you didn't think of. You know what you didn't think of, ma'am. He doesn't quite go into the Peter Falk, and nor do we expect him to. He delivers everything, much as Shayne Ward. That is his calling, his persona.
That's his goal. Yeah,
that is his goal. However, the next one I picked out for us to watch.
We skipped ahead a bit, didn't we?
Yeah, because this one is kind of extraordinary because it's kind of in the middle. The formula is normally they'll come to port somewhere, and they'll be able to work with local police, so they aren't just people going around doing extrajudicial room searches and things like that. The police can back them up.
Well, they do a bit.
It's not just one of those things. And I don't want to call this one's called At Sea. So one of the things about the mystery and the crime is that they spend the next 24 hours at sea, which means they don't have any of that usual recourse to back up from the proper authorities or anything. And it's here that the good ship Murder decides to do something I can only describe as Guy Ritchie's Murder on the Orient Express. It's about a poker tournament on board with the biggest high rollers in the world who are all introduced a la Guy Ritchie with their ridiculous nicknames and character cards. They're playing for like a 1 million buy-in, and they're just the highest rollers, the best poker players in the world are all on this ship. So you get Volkov, who's a Russian character. He's the number one in the world. Do you want to know how he's a Russian character? Because his dialogue is all about how his mother was executed in a gulag for stealing a loaf of bread. Not stereotypical at all. It's a Muppets Most Wanted level understanding of Russian people, which is fair enough.
That's how he bonds with Jack, isn't it? Saying that his mother used to sing in the Siberian gulag before her execution, which I think sounds like more of a good time than listening to Shayne Ward singing Hot Chocolate, if I'm honest.
Singing, my mother sang, you and I, we are the same.
We are not so very different, you and I, Mr. Ward.
We're not even pretending, like, they just keep calling him Shayne. It's Jack Grayling. Jack Grayling. Anyway, Volkov is murdered by the first ad break, obviously, but who are the suspects? You get Beelzebub, a 20-year-old who wears a glasses chain, but the glasses chain is blingy. He's got a blingy glasses chain. Like,
my favourite one is Lee Deadeye Stannett. He's got a sort of cowboy theme solely so they can call him the man with no tell.
Yeah, and wears an eye patch because, like, if anyone involved in any part of the episodes we're going to talk about should walk the plank, it's probably the costume designer in this one who tragically went insane and dressed everyone in this with eye patches, blingy glasses, chains. And you get Wendy Weston, who's described as poker's original rock chick. And I mention this because early on, Claire Sweeney, who's the cruise director, says, poker's the new rock and roll. Who knows where it could lead? Like, sorry, what? Poker is the new rock and roll? Poker? Like the game poker. It's the new rock and roll. Who knows where it could? What? No, sorry. What are you talking about? Anyway, so there's that. And then the last player is amazingly, and I mentioned him last because amongst Beelzebub and Lee Deadeye Stannett, you get this Bitcoin billionaire called Keith Lomax, which is the perfect level of fucking understatement and how fucking lame all these Bitcoin billionaires are. It's just a fucking guy in a cap and a suit jacket and a t-shirt. Just
And
absolutely.
I feel like you're overlooking a part of his costume that the show desperately wants you to overlook until it becomes plot relevant,
Yes,
which is that he always wears latex surgical gloves. And
there is that. Yes.
as soon as that happens and the voiceover doesn't, say, oh, he has a terrible latex fetish, his nickname is the pervert, you know that they don't want you to pay attention to that because it's going to be relevant to the ending. And sure enough,
Yeah. I'll say this: they could have fronted it out just as the weirdnesses of these fucking
yeah,
creeps. It's just
yeah,
but
wouldn't be
you're right. It is.
remotely out of character, but
This is wildly one of those ones where, in contrast to episode 1, where there's really only one person could have done it. This is one where it seems like, all right, so there's quite a lot of actual clues here. Like there are a few people that actually could have been. But that's because I mentioned Murder on the Orient Express, so spoilers for that as well. They all did it, and it gives us, what you think is like a quite good script, like compared to the other ones you've seen. What you think is like, oh, there are actual possible clues here, possible red herrings. The crime scene they arrive at, where there's so many ways you could have done. Like the guy is, well, I'll leave it to what Jack Grayling says. The immortal line: he was shooting up smack, then somebody stabbed him. They find him with heroin needles and punctures in his arm. They find him crucially face down with a knife in his back. They find part of his lunch eaten, so he could have been poisoned. I wrote this down as well. Jack instructs one of the porters who helps them out investigating to bag up a chip in case there's prints on it. Which is truly just like the vibes of just no one on here. And we've what is the Cozy Murder show we could make if we watched 200,000 episodes of Cozy Murder shows and didn't understand anything about police procedural stuff? There's ricin poisoning, possible as a possibility. That was very trendy after Breaking Bad. Here it is in 2023. As I say, searches without warrants. They're just at sea. But they all did it. Like, of course, they all did it. So that's why you have an interesting crime scene. And of course, that's the reason for the selection of song at the end as well.
yeah,
Everyone's a winner.
Truly, everyone is a winner. And listeners, by the time I'd watched it, I felt like I too was a winner. It's quite spectacular. I mean, you mentioned Claire Sweeney as Bev, who's obviously another soap alumnus. I remember her being in Brookside.
Yeah,
Currently
in Corrie, yeah.
Yeah, currently in Corrie. Yeah, I remember in Brookside at the pivot point in which everyone writing on Brookside lost their mind. And there would be, I know you'll be interested in this because I know you do Too Hot for TV. You've done some episodes of Too Hot for TV, but they released some straight to VHS special episodes of Brookside where all of the characters go around in again, sort of low budget imitations of the Long Good Friday, the sort of Guy Ritchie thing where they're all violent gangsters for a weekend before going back to their regular pre-watershed birth, and she was always central to those.
That's interesting. I want to pass that on to Dylan Reese to have a look at for Too Hot TV. Yeah. It's wild because that was a whole cottage industry, wasn't it? Straight to video films, but they're just sort of stocking fillers for nanas, really. So it's interesting that Brookside went, no, let's go long let's go Long Good Friday with it.
They had legit 18 certificates. It was bizarre.
Well, that's Brookside for you.
And the one you did for Too Hot for TV turned out to be written by Russell T Davies. So my dream is that I rediscover this. I find this online somewhere, and it turns out it was written by, I don't know, Jamie Matheson or someone. That would just
Chris Chibnall's Brookside After Dark.
Maybe, yeah.
We'd know. There'd be science. So the other one I suggested to watch for this was the finale of season 1, Valletta.
Yeah.
Which revolves around, which it has some music. It has some relevance to music in it as well. They make up a songstress called Vida Divine, who is performing on the ship, and until she is naturally does not die by natural causes, but yeah, naturally is dead by the first outbreak. Yeah. With this one though, it's kind of like this. It's one of those things that we're talking about the lack of understanding of police procedure, just purely police procedural, like the TV drama version of it. This sort of transfers over the X Factor industrial complex understanding of the music industry. Really, it's that the last temptation of Jack Grayling in season 1 is the Ian Berrington, also out of Doctor Who and also out of Coronation Street, comes along with offering him, and it carries over the Muppets understanding yet again. It offers him a standard rich and famous contract to get away from all this. But like, I didn't realize this when I picked it out, but this same thing happens in the poker episode. Is that Keith Lomax, the big Keith the pervert Lomax, offers Kate a job because she's like ambitious, wants to get wants to be captain of the ship, and has been offered a job on his super yacht. It said, and Jack's an absolute prick to her about it. It's kind of like he's trying to buy you off, it's like he's a billionaire, he doesn't offer anything. So, to which she's quite naively like, no, maybe not. Maybe billionaires are just acting on whims. If he's if he's not smart, how come he's rich? So when it happens to this, when the exact same thing happens, and he's like, no, I could really go for it. It's like, again, that's such a mad post X Factor understanding. It's like, you are at this point, you have been a police detective, you have decided to quit and become a cruise ship singer. It's like, right, this is it. This is my third or fourth act. I'm going to sign a standard rich and famous contract with my musical heroes manager, who also may or may not be a suspect in her murder, and definitely isn't trying to throw me off the scent. But yeah, this is a real thing, and Kate is, tearfully like, oh, I don't want it to go. Instead of being like, yeah, fuck you. This happened 3 weeks ago. You were a total prick to me about it.
This was probably my favourite of the 3 episodes that you sent me, partly because of Stockholm Syndrome. I'd grown quite accustomed to the deep lore of the good ship murder. I wanted to know how the...
Yeah, people go quite mad when they're at sea for a long time.
So. They do, yeah. It was cabin fever. But also, like as you say, the murder plots could be generated by just feeding an AI loads of Richard Cole's novels and Death in Paradise scripts. But when a show like this introduces an entertainment industry figure, you're like, all right, let's see, what's this based on? And so my immediate thought when Vida Devine comes on, played by Kate Robbins, by the way, who's done one of those actors who's done about one or 2 episodes of every single comedy series that's ever been made. Latterly, also famous as Emily Atac's mum.
Yeah, didn't know that.
But the Claire Sweeney character, Bev, who's in charge of booking all of the exact, says that, she's infamous for cancelling her concerts.
Yeah.
And I thought, right, we're going to have the Morrissey episode, aren't we?
They'll get to it. They'll get to
it. Yeah, they'll have their... how many series did The Simpsons go through before having Benedict Cumberbatch as Quillaby? The good ship murder will be much more efficient on this front. But I think I actually came away from it with the sensation that this was actually based on the Father Ted My Lovely Horse episode.
Well, yeah, because it kind of revolves around, once, Vida's been murdered, it kind of emerges that her biggest hit is stolen. She plagiarized it from someone else as a journalist played by Haley Tamadan, who's trying to, corner her on it, and then obviously becomes a suspect. This more recently is the plot of the excellent John Carney film Power Ballad. Someone watching their song become famous without credit, so there's that in there. But
the thing with that, I haven't seen Power Ballad, but the thing with that is that it does it from that classic kind of Amadeus standpoint, doesn't it, where you are in there next to the thwarted songwriter for the whole movie, and you watch them see someone else get famous with their song. Because when you do it the other way round, you get a problem which Father Ted played very well for sheer absurdism, and this doesn't quite get past, where you have to have a song that's obscure enough for someone to rip it off and no one to notice. But also there has to be a bit where someone basically goes into their local bakery and goes, "I've heard that tune before."
Yeah, exactly. It's but then, you know, completely extraneous to that. It's not even the only episode I've watched where, like, it turns out they were just murdered by a fan. Like, if it's anyone famous,
Yeah.
it's usually a fan, or you know, the fan will be a suspect. But it's more than that. It's just, it goes a bit dark, really. It's just that the person who's, like, you know, seems like they're a fan's trying to get close to Vida is actually her son, who she abandoned as a baby. But you know, when this comes out, all the other characters kind of react the way they do when in soaps, when they freeze for an ad break. You know, like when someone like stares off to the side and it comes up with Coronation Street and the music plays, and it's just that pause. It's like, all right, that's a normal reaction to this very harrowing revelation.
I imagine if you've done enough soaps, it is a normal reaction. I imagine if you're one of those guys who's been on a soap opera since like the 80s, you could receive like a phone call saying your mum's been run over and is in intensive care, and your instant reaction will just be to tilt your head to one side and wait for the theme tune to kick in. It's just ingrained after a while.
Yeah. There's so they solve this one. They find out it was the son. They figure it out, but there's still a dilemma of, will Jack leave the ship? And Kate's really cut up about it. And after listening to Claire Sweeney do a monologue about marriage, she decides to break off her engagement to Piers DeVries, the other guy, like the Bill Pullman, the boyfriend who's just already there. The James Marsden, the Bill Pullman, you've seen these types. The guy who's just there all the way through, who's her fiance. She decides to break off that engagement after Claire Sweeney talks to her about marriage for a bit. And then she's like really caught up about it. And the way she finds out that Jack's decided not to sign the standard rich and famous contract. He's decided to carry on sailing the seven seas, solving ridiculous murders, and singing a song afterwards. And the way she discovers this is he stood outside her cabin, sort of doing an ill-advised a cappella "You to Me Are Everything," which is like, I wouldn't be happy to see him. That's how I was disturbed from my fucking seat. I'd be terrible on a cruise. That's the thing. Any TV show or movie about cruises, I go, I just could not. I would go mental. Like
I think you lent me your Blu-ray. Was it Blu-ray or DVD? Yeah.
Juggernaut. Yeah,
Juggernaut. Yeah, I think that made cruise ships look more inviting than this does.
God, Juggernaut's amazing.
It's
yeah. I mean, I could watch more of this. I'd just be pretending I was watching Juggernaut the whole time. So yeah. But, you know, you get this as well as doing the, you know, the Nana Sway amphitheater, you know, sold out Wembley stage that they've got on this somewhere on this cruise ship. You get like a little montage of clips from the series. Like, I remember all the good times from series 1 of the Good Ship Murder, which is crazy. You know, it's just what a so congratulatory like way to wrap that up.
Yeah,
I've watched at least one other finale from a later series, so I can confirm this is repeated. But that's when, in the spoilers for listeners again, if you're already, you must have paused this by now to go and binge all of the Good Ship Murder if you're ever planning on watching this, if you haven't seen it already. But the third series finale, Piers is the murder victim, like Kate's fella. And at the end of that one, when they've solved that one, it's the very emotional singing "Don't You Forget About Me" by Simple Minds, and they repeat the montage thing, but it's all just clips of Piers. And Graham, you've seen Piers throughout these 3 episodes. When I tell you these are just really random, just clips of him reacting or smiling from the episodes that you've already seen, like that's pretty much it. There's not like Piers, he had such a face. Remember what he was like. It's not really the movie. Not really the movie thing, but it's
a slightly ironic choice of song to see off this character who I had, in fact, forgotten about.
Yeah. It's just like, imagine if other shows did this. Imagine if every series of Line of Duty, instead of doing that like frantic piano falling down the stairs kind of montage of of what happened next in the story, like what happened with the suspects, what happened with the detectives, what AC-12 still has to sort out. Imagine if instead of that, it was just really anodyne clips. So he's fucking like Adrian Dunbar singing Mr. Brightside or something at the end of series where like cop killers get away and the OCGs are still at it and there's a sense of dread and the story goes on.
Imagine if every time Game of Thrones killed off a character, they had to have the tribute montage. It would be like at least 3 seasons longer than it was anyway.
Yeah, it's just YouTube AMVs of just very innocuous B-roll of lamented characters. There is a I would say there's an upward curve in improvement from season 1 in the later ones I've seen. Court d'Azur is the 7th episode of series 2. Is one where they decide to do I'm just saying, it's like, oh, look what they've done now, look what the cat's dragged in, another episode of the Good Ship Murder. Anyway, I'll rephrase that. What they're aiming for is there's a band performing on the ship. It's like a revival of an 80s soft rock band called Moonlit Dreams, which have they have divorced members and they're arguing all the time, so they're just trying to do their own Fleetwood Mac. And it's got locked room mystery tropes, like all the characters are present when the murder happens, just in another room, and there's no way the killer could have got out. So it's a question of like, how did it happen? How did they get away? What's going on? It's like this interesting, well done stuff with that. The only question that should have asked and didn't is, do we have the means to convincingly events like a Fleetwood Mac style band that is as beloved and as popular with as good songs as Fleetwood Mac? And the answer is no. No, the Good Ship Murder is not capable of that. What you haven't said is the frontman, Derek, played by Mark McGann, is the only guy who's rich in the band because he wrote all their songs and gets all the royalties, and the rest of them are all still touring and they've all fallen out with each other.
Another Morrissey episode.
That's why I said they're going to get to Morrissey if they haven't already. Morrissey could be anywhere in one of these. You're just hearing like in the bowels of the ship, just an echoing. I'm a massive cunt. Anyway, Derek, Mark McGann character, is like the front man, and guess what? He's got a gun on his wall from a famous incident where he played Russian roulette with Oliver Reed, Keith Richards, and Lord Lucan, which is just such a spectacular bit of. You talked about the law of the Good Ship Murder. That is such a spectacular bit of world building bullshit. I loved it so much. It's just kind of, you write off as it's a good thing Reedy couldn't shoot for shit, or I wouldn't still be here. Just something like that. But it is, it's the first corpse by the ad break. It's the suspect saying we need to talk. It's the third ad break saying propelling us towards a solution, or in this case saying, I know what the solution is, tell them what the solution is. And the ending, as always, is Shayne singing. This time singing The Great Pretender. Not very much not in the Freddie Mercury, or very much not in the vocal range of other covers of that. But again, it being the Good Ship Murder, it's when the Great Pretender bit comes along, it's a personal crisis for Jack. It's that he has to go on instead of an 80s band because one of the band has been arrested for murder. So it's like, oh, this is another day at work on the Good Ship Murder. I've got to go and not disappoint all of these fans who aren't here to see me, and of course they all just love him, so it's fine.
Do you think he's framing them so he can get their slots?
Could well be like the dark heart of the Good Ship Murder that nobody seems to think about. That isn't it a bit peculiar that there are all these fabulous murders for them to solve right where they're going? Only other note on this one is there's one of the reasons why the band members are arguing. One of the conflicts is that one of the women was dating a roadie who died in a drug-fueled incident with one of the other members of the band. Anyway, he's called Mark, and they later name him as Mark Chapman. And I'm like, maybe in this music-themed episode, think of a different name than Mark Chapman. It's just maybe another pass on that. But yeah, that's nitpicking. This is absolutely the formula, but it's an episode that does all of that stuff well and invents within it, creates within it. Isn't just flat dialogue. It's mad things like Russian roulette with Oliver Reed, Keith Richards, and Lord Lucan, and our fictional rock star insert, which is I was still laughing at that. Yeah. So where next for the Good Ship Murder? Well, Catherine Tilsley is back in Corrie full time. So she was in the third series, and she's going to be in the first one of the next run, which will probably be on in January, because that's the thing with these shows, isn't it? It's like beyond being travelogue things, they'll put them on when it's cold and miserable outside. It's like nice escapist thing. That's somewhere on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, isn't it? A nice holiday. But yeah, so Catherine Tilsley's gone back to Corrie. And I looked this up the other day. I actually wondered who was going to be the new Catherine Tilsley, and it looks like it's Peter Davison as Jack's dad, smooth-talking, streetwise silver fox Eddie Grayling. And yes, finally, we're going to last crusade this shit. Like, just... like Jack Grayling is back, and this time he's bringing his dad.
Yes, I didn't realize he's playing Jack Grayling's dad. I mean, my first thought when you sent me the headline was, I hope they can like replicate sizzling sexual tension that Shayne Ward and Catherine Tilsley had.
I have faith in Davo. I believe that you can recreate that. I believe you can recreate that. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a huge stretch to say that Peter Davison is to Shayne Ward what Sean Connery is to Harrison Ford. I don't know what the fuck I mean, but it's not a great stretch to say it.
Yes. So it's going from strength to strength in a lot of ways. I mean, I
think it's Channel 5's biggest show. Yeah, it's their most popular show, and you got to put that down to an X Factor winner who's made good, who's pivoted successfully. Who's turned that ship around, that great big giant 20-year sort of arc, and to turn it in another direction.
And also, it's the only one of their dramas that isn't about some terrible historic child abuse case, which probably helps.
It seems it, doesn't it? Yeah, I know they've done other. I know I didn't get this. I don't think I got the same trailers. I'm assuming you're on about the Hugh Edwards thing they did with Martin Clown's like that.
They had the Hugh Edwards thing, and then they went straight into their Maxine Carr one, which is when I thought you've got a niche here, and I'm not sure I like the niche.
Yeah, the Play for Today ones I've seen, I haven't watched them all yet, but they're quite light. There's one that's Anita Dobson and Nigel Havers in a retirement home, just that's all about, you know, old people, they still fuck. That's like, which is good for them as well, you know. It's like, love it, you love to see it. Yeah, but the grim stuff is there anyway. The stuff they're still doing that thing of like it's stripped across weekday nights. Like I've seen them do that a lot more than the other channels have now. You sort of got these 5-part shows that aren't actually like thinking about Tiptoe, but both the Russell T Davies things recently, the War Between the Land and the Sea and Tiptoe, both 5 episodes, and both sort of awkwardly clumped in double bills or over different nights and stretched over a couple of weeks. Yeah, but Channel 5 stuck to that, I guess, because they don't have what the other channels have in terms of like, 9 o'clock flagship shows through the week. But it's like, as someone who wants to write and talks a lot of shit for someone who wants to write, it's nice that there is actually still an entry level like something, which isn't what this is. This is old people. This isn't Play for Today, but it's nice that Channel 5 is at least keeping the end up at a point where it seems like it's really difficult to get any UK drama made that doesn't have that, what commissioners want to call cinematic, which means it looks like it has fucking, it has expensive lenses. It's murkily color graded.
Yeah, it's brown.
It's about the worst news story of 2022, or whatever.
Yeah, completely agree. I think the one thing that we've really missed out from our summaries of these episodes is that episode 8 does have Jack's backstory, which struck me as being like, I can only say this, what if the Colin Farrell's backstory in Bruges was done in the style of one of the Simpsons McGonagall sketches?
It is McGonagall, isn't it?
It is.
That's great, McGonagall. Jimmy is dead.
Hey, I'm trying to eat here.
They slit his throat from here to here. Hey, I'm trying to eat lunch here. I forgot all about that, but it is McGonagall, isn't it?
It is.
I was looking after a kid, and the kid died, Anyway, I thought, now's the chance for my second or third act as a cruise
Now,
steward.
as I looked down at his little pallid body, I thought, I always wanted to be a cruise singer. It would be a good time to get into cruise singing now. I can't imagine I'm going to face loads of murders when I'm on a cruise ship. So, nice change of pace.
Yeah, like what in AS level media studies they call enigma codes, like for season arcs and TV writing. You know, it's just like what that line that's just like, why would a homicide detective give it all up to become a cruise singer? I think there's more to Jack Rayleigh, and we get to the answer. It's like, nope, there really wasn't that much more to Jack Rayleigh. It was like,
I didn't realize they were called enigma codes, but that's very funny because I do not think you would have to be Alan Turing to crack this one.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, it's like, you used to be a homicide detective and you gave it all up. Did something happen? Yes. You to me are everything through the song that I can sing. Oh, baby. What a show. What an absolute show.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought this to my attention.
It's mental because it is, when you go to watch it on stream and it gives you the standard, like, violent scenes, are you over 16? But this has been like repeated. They've repeated the arse off this through like weekday afternoons on Channel 5. I know that now because I have a baby. I'm a stay-at-home dad. I've seen plenty of the Good Ship Murder on afternoons, but it's just gentle like that. Yeah.
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 Yeah, and I also hadn't realised that Shayne Ward had an acting career like outside of this as well. He starred in an action movie called The Ascent, which I hope is loosely based on the 1977 Soviet anti-war classic of the same name, but probably
surely must be, yes,
must be, yeah.
He was on, as I say, him and Captain Tilsley were both on Coronation Street at the same time. They were a couple, and as much as her role in that was and is, of like the funnier, lighter thing, there's none of that for her here. And he's just in a much more cheeky, chappy thing when he wasn't that way. His big thing was when he went out of it, it was like this big storyline about male suicide. So, yeah, it's kind of flipped over here. She's the glum one. Tease. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is all it aspires to be, I would say. You know exactly what you're in for with the opening titles and those mad cuts. This is the sort of thing that went out of fashion with Touch of Cloth, and maybe that's, other than, budget problems, maybe that's another reason why the other channels have stayed away from the types of dramas they used to make, because, Touch of Cloth's like opening like titles would just be like, like a murder weapon, and then John Hannah turning around, and another murder weapon, and John Hannah turning around in another direction, or getting lost and wandering around. By the way, Graham, guess who the star of Benidorm's Murder starting tomorrow on Channel 5 is?
You mentioned this. It's John Hannah.
John Hannah, yeah. So it hasn't put him off. So, yeah. So, it's a thing of... This. I've been on this podcast a lot, knee jerking at how Bohemian Rhapsody brought back stuff that Walk Hard had long buried, but we can have a TV industry. It'd be nice if we had one again. Like, there's room for stuff like this.
Yeah,
and it's, I can't reasonably recommend it, but I'll probably have on any episode of this that's on. Like, it's not demanding. It's like nice wind down stuff if it's repeated anyway. If the baby's only just gone to sleep, or if for some reason they're repeating it, it's stupid o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. I found myself weirdly compelled by it. I think probably I've been watching this in slightly odd circumstances. And I guess this is a good thing to mention at the tail end of the show, because it's also a plug for something that's coming on the Geek Show main site fairly soon, which is that I have the new Radiance Films box set of Jean-Luc Godard's Histoires du Cinéma, all 8 episodes of that. So I've been doing this weird double bill thing recently where I watch and make copious notes on an episode of Jean-Luc Godard's Histoires du Cinéma, and typing it out. I must look up what Balzac novel or what Wittgenstein piece he's referencing there, so I can have a cat in hell's chance of understanding what point he's making about Jean Renoir. And then I watch an episode of The Good Ship Murder, and I make equally copious notes about that.
Savoury and sweet.
A wild life. It's been a wild life recently. But yes, Mark, do you want to let people know where they can find you and your work?
I'm writing at large, mostly on filmstories.co.uk and then the Film Stories magazine. Got a couple of bits coming up in the next issue of that. Next month, though, August 15th, The First Question is a new podcast that's starting up. The formula is basically Doctor Who is kind of resting at the minute. It's part to tender and stuff. So this podcast is my insane bits to persuade the BBC to do it as a panel game show. In every episode, we remake an existing episode as if it were a game show. We talk about a Doctor Who episode a bit, and then we make a game show out of it. Graham's been a guest on one of the episodes. That's the second episode in the series, so that'll be up August 22nd if you want to hear us on that one. That one is the music episode. It's about the Devil's Chord, and it went normally, right? I would say it went normally.
Yeah, have you got your voice back yet?
Not yet, no. There's not loads more singing. I get someone in to do the singing on that.
Yes,
there's some singing on that one. Yeah. But yeah, if you fancy listening to that, that's it's called The First Question. So just search for that wherever you get your podcasts. Follow First Question Pod on Blue Sky, Instagram, and YouTube. And I'm markharrison.bsky.social on Blue Sky as well.
Yeah, do give The First Question a listen when it comes out, because I really enjoyed being on that. I was as happy as a nan at a Jack Grayling concert.
You were swaying your arms by the end of the recording.
I was, yeah. As for me, you can find me on thegeekshow.co.uk and on the Geek Show's Patreon, where, among other things, I contribute to our Outside the Blue Box series of articles about what Doctor Who's major movers and shakers do outside the show. Should have just done an episode on Peter Grimwade's contribution to Dramarama, a bitter black comedy that definitely isn't an attempt to grind old axes about how annoying Tom Baker was on set. That should have gone up by the time this goes out. I have a website, grahamwilliamsonfilms.com, where you can find out about new exhibitions and other things I've been involved with. I'm updating my Instagram fairly regularly at the moment. I do a fair bit on it, like not much, but a lot for a site that you think is actively crap. And that's at Graham W Films. I'm most active on Letterboxd, the last remaining good social media site, where you can just search for Graham Williamson and find me there. And we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. We'll probably have a Patreon episode out on the Odyssey sometime this month, but I don't know when that's going to be exactly. That'll need a bit of schedule juggling. We will definitely be back in 2 weeks' time with an episode on Spike Lee's Highest to Lowest, the film that finally asked the question, Corsar was good, but he'd be better if he had access to A$AP Rocky, right? That'll be here in a couple of weeks' time on the same feed, but until then, I've been Graham.
I've been Mark, and to sing us out, it's Jack Grayling singing Firestarter by The Prodigy.